Hey class, so I hope you have your rate of change. This is the walkthrough of the rate of change worksheet. And on the top, it would be really nice if you want to, you can color it, make designs, whatever. But the key is make sure you put your name here or here. Make sure you put your name on the first page where I can see it. Then we're going to walk through this. If you have a highlighter, it's going to help you on the second page. Make sure you have a pen or a pencil for this page. And then we're going to look at some tables on these tables, and then we're going to graph. And on the last page, we're going to look at unit rate, kind of like we did the other day. We're going to do these problems. So this is a walkthrough. Don't feel like you have to watch the whole thing. Feel free to fast forward or rewind or just watch a few minutes. But I'm going to walk through this whole worksheet. I'm going to do it quickly, though, because I know that you can pause it, and I don't want to make a really long video. All right, so here we go. So let's get started. Again, put your name on that first page if you haven't already. And we're going to start here. I'm going to move my face over. And so the first thing we're going to look at is slope. Now we're going to keep coming back to this all the time. Slope is rise over run. So if you haven't already, I want you to go ahead and write that right here. So we're going to write slope is rise over run. If we're looking at a graph, what does that mean? That means we're going to be looking at up and down, and that number is going to go on the top. How much from one point to the other point did it go up or down? And then we're going to look run. That means from one point to the next, how far did it scoot over? Did it scoot over to the right positively, or did it go over to the left negatively? So that's what we're going to do. All right, let's look at this first one. This first one's positive, rise over run. So we can see that we're going, here I'm going to make my little division sign there. You can see that we're going up from this point to that point. We're going up 2, 1, 2. And we're going to go over, how many? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So this graph, the rise is 2. From this point to that point, I've gone up 2 of these lines. 2 of these lines going up vertically. So 2 is going to go on the top, and 3 is going to go on the bottom. Because you can see from this point to that point, I moved along 3 points, scooting along from left to right. 2 over 3, and that's positive. Next one, negative. Okay, I can see just by looking at it, it's going down. Again, if you have a highlighter, I would highlight different colors. Positive, you can highlight one color, and then that line with the same color. Then negative, highlight that in another color, like yellow or red, and then the line. And what we're going to do now is 1, 2, 3. So that's going down. Because it's going down, that's going to be negative 3. So that's my rise. My rise is actually going down. Then the run is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's negative 3 over 5. Did you get those numbers? Now we're going to look at zero slope. Again, if you have a highlighter, I would highlight that in a different color, green or whatever, and highlight the line in the same color. Okay, so we're going to look at rise over run when it's a zero slope. We already know the answer is going to be 0, but let's make sure. Okay, so going back and forth, we can see that it's going back and forth, but how much is it going up and down? The number on the top is up and down. It's not going up or down. So the distance up and down to go from this, where this point is, to that point is 0. You're not going up or down. It's on the same, it's at the same height. Now, going back and forth, 1, 2, 3, 4, we've gone over 4. Okay? But what is 0 divided by 4? 0 divided by 4 is 0. Anything 0 divided into any parts is going to be 0. Now, if you divide by 0, that's the same thing as infinity, sort of. So 0 divided by 0 doesn't count. But anything else, 0 divided by any number is going to give us 0. Okay, but we're focusing on slope. Now for this one, I can see that my rise is 1, 2, 3, 4. My rise is 4. So I'm going up 4. But my run is 0. I'm in the same number of spaces from the origin here. I'm 2 spaces over. So my run is 0. Okay, are we allowed to divide by 0? Not yet. Algebra police will come and get you. If you do that, be careful. So we're going to write undefined, U-N-D, undefined, because it's going, the slope is positive infinity and negative infinity at the same time. Next, now we're going to look at slopes from 2 points. Do you remember doing this? This was hard for some of you. This is probably the most involved thing that we've done. But if you take it step by step, it's not that bad. Again, slope is what over what? It's rise over run. So make sure you write that again. Rise over run. If I'm writing it with this computer pen with my mouse, I know you can write it better with your actual pen. Rise over run. Okay, so this is what we're going to do here. We're going to label each point. So your first number are your x's, and I'm going to call this x1 because it's the first point. Okay? This is also another x. We're just going to call this x2. Okay? And then for our y's, this is the first y. This is the y of the first point. This is the y of the second point. Okay? It doesn't matter which point you start with, just as long as you're consistent. If I start with this y on the top, then I have to start with that x on the bottom. If I start with this y on the top, then I have to start with that x on the bottom. So it doesn't really matter which one you call 1 and which one you call 2. And how do we do rise over run? Well, to see how much it's gone up or down, I just subtract the y's from each other. So I'm going to do y2 minus y1, because I want to keep it positive. And then, how far back and forth? Well, you just take one of your x's and subtract it from your other x. That tells you how far you've gone back and forth. x2 minus x1. Okay? So the rise is 3 minus 1. Anybody know what 3 minus 1 is? And the run is 8 minus 5. Okay? See, I started, so I did my y2 minus my y1 divided by my x2 minus my x1. Okay? And that's going to equal 2 over 3. Is that what you got? 2 over 3? And it's positive. Yay! All right, now for this one, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, but we're going to end up with a negative number. All right, so I'm not going to label the x's and y's because it takes a little bit of time. Well, maybe I will. These are your x's. You guys need to label them too. If I'm doing it, you need to do it. And then the second number in each ordered pair are your y's. So we're going to start off by subtracting our y's. This time I'm going to go ahead and do it the other way. I'm going to start with this number first. I'm going to call this my number 2. So 4 minus what? Negative 5. Be careful about that negative. 4 minus negative 5. Okay? And then on the bottom, I'm going to have negative 6 minus 6. Okay, I made a lot of noise when I did that minus and negative. Why did I do that? Why did I make a lot of noise about minus and negative? Because that means you're adding these two numbers. The minus and the negative cancel each other out. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Positive. Uh-oh, negative 6, and you have another negative 6. So negative 6, remember subtraction is just adding a negative. Negative 6 plus another negative 6 gives us negative 12. So the answer on the bottom is negative 12. See, you have a negative slope. Can you reduce this? Yes, you can. That reduces to 3 over negative 4. Okay. All right, now zero slope. This one's going to be interesting. Zero slope. Remember up here when we had a zero slope? We had a 0 at the top. When we had undefined or no slope, we had a 0 on the bottom. So we can see that with the numbers too. Rise over run. Okay? So, oops. Time to change classes. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we have the first numbers are x's, and the second numbers are your y's. Okay, let's start with the second numbers. So we have 2 minus 2. Okay, we can stop at this point because we know that 2 minus 2 is 0, but let's finish it off just so we can feel good about ourselves. Negative 4 minus 2. Okay. All right, so we end up with 0 over negative 6. Doesn't really matter what we're dividing by. It's going to be 0, 0 slope. No slope. Let's look at this one. Okay. So on the top, we're going to have 3 minus negative 4. Okay. And then on the bottom, our run is 1 minus 1. Remember, first numbers get to go to bed first. They go down here at the bottom. All right, so then we have 3 minus negative means plus. That'd be 7 over 0, which is undefined. Please put UND or undefined. Because it actually does have a slope. It's just both positive and negative at the same time, which is weird. In a sense, it doesn't have a slope, but in a sense, it really does. The slope is undefined. Okay, let's scroll down. All right, so if you're still watching this, good for you. Pat yourself on the back. Okay, so rate of change, is it constant or variable? So how much are we changing? We're going from 12 to 24. That I'm jumping by 12, okay? And down here, I'm going by 1. Now, from 24 to 48, I'm going up, I'm doubling that. So that's 24. And from 2 to 4, I'm doubling that, going by 2. So far, so good. 12 over 1 is the same thing as 24 over 2. We're good to go. Now let's try this next one. 48 to 84. What's 84 minus 48? That's going to give us, what is it, 30, what is that? 36, no? Yeah, 36. Okay. And then going from 4 to 7 is 3. But 36 divided by 3 is also 12. 12 divided by 1 is 12. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 36 divided by 3 is 12. It's looking pretty good so far. What's 108 divided by 9? Could it be? Could it be 12? And yes, it is. That equals 12. So this one's consistent. Boom. We got a consistent rate of change. All right, now let's look at this one here. From, okay, again, 12 divided by 1 is 12. When I hop up here, I'm going a distance of 26. But down here, that is 2. Well, what's 26 divided by 2? Uh-oh, that's 13. So this one's this one is variable. Okay? So that's all you're going to do for these is just go and see if it's consistent or not. This one right here, 1 over 7. That is 1/7, right? 2 over 5. Or if you want to, if it's easier, we can flip-flop these. We can do 7 over 1. Because we normally put time on the bottom anyway, right? 7 over 1 equals 7. Okay. And let's try this one out. 15 over 2. What's 15 divided by 2? Does that equal 7? No, that equals 7.5, 7.5. So this one is not constant, it's variable. This last one, just to let you know, is variable. You're going by sevens. So this one's a check mark. This last one. All right, now let's go ahead and look at the next one. Okay, so this table graph shows the amount of water that's leaking. Graph the data, so they want us to graph it first, and then find the slope. All right, so let's just graph a few of these. Notice this is going up by 20s, while this is going up by 1s. So time, again, time is always on the bottom. See, time is usually your run. So 30 for 1 is going to be like right about there. And then 0, 0 is, I'm assuming, where we're starting. 260, it's going to be right here. Okay, we have enough points now. We can draw our line. If you want to, we can draw the next one, 390, 420. Here, let's skip 3. So then we have 2 lines here that are very curly lines. A line is going to be straight. You're just going to connect the dots. And then put a little arrow at the end because it keeps going forever. Rate of change. We can pick any of these. You're going to find the rate of change is 30. Rise is 30. Run is 1. 30 over 1. Okay? I'm ready to finish this. I don't know about you. Okay, unit rate. Remember what we do? We just take one and divide it by the other. 120 divided by 6. 120 divided by 6 is 20. So we got 20 here. And for this one, we have 84 divided by 4. 84 divided by 4 is 21. 21 what? $21 per book. Per book. This one's 20 bottles per case. Okay, this one we're going to take 60 and divide it by 5. Are you getting these so far? Pause the video and see if you can figure it out. 60 divided by 5, that gives you 12. 12 pencils per what? Per package. Okay, and then this last one, I'll do it just to be, so we can finish it out. It's 420 miles in 7 hours. Okay, that's 60. That means you're averaging 60 what? 60 miles per hour. 60 miles per hour. Okay. All right, now let's look at these slopes. Rise over run. Rise. This is a good point. So I'm rising up 50 and I'm running 1. So the slope is the rate of change of just 50. 50 what? Miles per hour. Miles per hour. Make sure you read the units. Miles per hour. This one, books per week. So that's a good spot to pick. So I'm going up 3 and over 1. Rise over run. So that's going to give me 3 what? Books per week. Okay? Books per week. Or you can say books/week. And cups, quarts. Okay, that looks like a good spot right there. So I'm going, my rise is 8. And my run is 2. Can I reduce that? What's 8 divided by 2? It is 4. So 4 cups per quart. Okay? Or I could have put a P. Don't be lazy like me, actually write the words out. But I'm trying to make this video a little bit shorter for you. Okay, 90 is your rise, and 2 is your run. I did that because it clearly connects the points here. This one's harder to know exactly where it hits. So 90 over 2. And what is 90 divided by 2? It is 45. So this one's going to be $45 dollars per ticket. Okay, here's your last one. Let's go and fill this out. We have a rate of 3 miles every 6 minutes. Guess what number is going to go right here? 3. Okay, 6 is doubled, so that means 3 is doubled. See, that's 6 times 2. So that means we're going to do 3 times 2. Okay, this one, we're adding 3 more. So up here, we're going to add 6 more. Or you could think of it this way. 3 times 3 is 9. So 6 times 3 is going to give us 18. Okay, 12, that's 3 times 4. I'm going to add 3 more. And then 6 times 4 is going to be what? 24. See how it's jumping by 6 each time up here? Down here it's jumping by 3. Okay, this last jump down here is going to be 15. Okay. Now you just plot the points and find the slope by doing rise over run. So you don't have to plot a lot of points. Let's just do a couple of them here. And we'll be done. Et voila. All right, so distance in miles is going to be 3 miles per 6 minutes. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Notice these are going by 2s. So 2, 4, 6. And then the distance is 3. So it's going to be 2.5 right there. Maybe that wasn't the best one to pick. And obviously, after 0 minutes, their distance is 0. In this case. Okay, 6. Let's say 12. So 10, 12, and the distance is 6. So 2, 4, 6. Okay, that one's a little bit better. We have enough points. Now we can graph it. And there you go. So the slope is going to be, okay, what's our rise? Our rise is actually the miles. See that? Miles. So our rise is 3. And then what's the run? The run is minutes. So it's time. So in 3 miles, I've gone 6 minutes. There you go, 3 over 6. 3 over 6 reduces to 1/2. And 1/2, you could write that as the unit rate, or you could turn that into decimal and say 0.5. 0.5 miles per hour. Have a great day. See you guys tomorrow. Sorry that was long. Way to hang in there. Bye.